Welcome back to Underway Drifting and Dreaming. We are on the Erie Canal heading to the Oswego Canal. So by the time we get to the Oswego Canal, we will have gone through 22 locks, and we're going to show a little bit of how the locks work for us as a 48-foot Katie Krogan, how we handle the lines while we were on our great loop adventure. So the bridge is sitting at a little bit more than 20 feet. The gates are opening. I have my tools. I have one of my gloves on. Been washing them every evening at my boat hook. It's a really cool bridge. Have my life jacket on and a hat to keep my hair out of my eyes. Jim wears his life jacket also. That's something that's required going through the locks. Going slowly. I'll just listen to make sure nothing's hitting up there. So far, so good. But at the very bottom here, that's the rocks straight ahead, and then the gates above it. So the water will take us up high enough above that part, and we can go yell the breeze on that canal. And the rock plus water. Get up, we'll be way above. You'll actually hear it when it closes. It makes a metal sound. There it goes. The boat needs to go back a little bit. So that's what it looks like up there. And looking down below. And looking forward. Jim just uses a thruster, so we're not totally slammed against the wall. The very first lock we went to was in this functioning, and we were pushed so hard up against it, we lost some covers off of our fenders. I do not have this line made up to the boat at all. It's not a good idea. So it's just best to hold on. As you can see with Jim at the helm, there isn't much I need to do right now. All I have is a small loop of line in my hand. You can see that line is dirty, it's slimy, it's smelly. I'm using my glove. And I'm just holding onto the boat. I don't have enough to just take a turn. If I took a turn, I would have more control. But we are so high up that it prevents us from taking a turn. And we're using the locks line. And you can see there's a plastic, it's a hard plastic or hard rubber piece at the bottom of that line, and that prevents from the lines being blown out from the side of the walls into your bow thruster or your props. And I'm really careful when I do drop that. I lower it down so it does not hit our stabilizers or the side of the boat. But some of these are metal, hard plastic, some are PVC pipes, and you need to be careful so you do not damage your boat. So we are going up here. The walls, you can see they're slimy also. You need to have your gloves on and wash your gloves. I started washing them every night. Then I started washing them every time I was done. And then just putting them back there on the handrail with the Velcro so they would dry. So my loop is getting a little bit bigger. And I am taking in the line as we are rising up. And then I'm going to reach a point where I'm going to have to feed that line back up because I will be up above the wall. And with the New York Canal system, you leave your engine running. We are the only ones in this lock, and so it's not bad. But when you have 4 vessels or more, or just one, the smell of the exhaust tends to be overwhelming. That's carbon monoxide that you're breathing. But they do go rather quickly. This was a 10-minute video that I reduced it down to just, I think, maybe 2 minutes. And you can see we're still rising up, and I can finally see the grass and the trees. This is just a really neat, we're lifting up, just a really neat experience. And in a few days, or I think maybe later on this day, we are going to be locking down. So we will come to the highest point of the elevation, and then we will be locking back down, which is a totally different experience. You finally get locking up, and then you have to learn how to lock down, which it's a quick learning curve after several days on the Erie Canal. Let's talk safety for a few minutes. We keep 2 very sharp knives right inside the door. I sometimes take a turn. Once we get on Oswego Canal, I do take a turn on the cleat, but never make off a canal line to your boat. It could cause it to seize down and the boat will keep moving. We saw this happen on the very first lock. The lady in front of us made the line off, walked away, and the boat was still moving. Then she couldn't remove it. It was stuck. Her husband had to come out and cut it. It became a very dire situation. Once that line was cut, the boat popped up. Oh, there's a dead animal that we're going over. That's not a log. So do not make a line off when you're in the Trent Severn. Then you'll be using your own lines, and you do tie your line. Welcome to Rome, New York. Here we're going to tie up to the wall. A lot of people had strangers board their boats while on this wall, so you need to be very careful anywhere you're at. Be aware of your situations. Lock your doors. There's a lot of homelessness. We did not have an issue. I had a few people walk up to the boat and were surprised that I was sitting on the back. Maybe I was eating. And I just talked to them about the Great Loop. But extreme caution to be used here with people boarding your boats. New York it's not a gun state. You can't carry your gun on the Great Loop with you. And you can't fight back. This isn't Texas. So again, be aware of your situations, your possessions, and keep your boat locked up and make your decision if you're going to stay here. Jim joined me on my morning walk adventure. We walked up to the fort and around the downtown area. It's just amazing to see these buildings that were built back in the 1800s and the stonework. But we walked around the fort, and my goal this morning was to walk past the Rome water tower. And we got about halfway through, and Jim was needing to get back to the boat to utilize the facilities. So you'll see him up in front of me walking. So he is making a beeline back to that boat. The guard geese. watching the oops, is that 207 years? Alright, we are at gate 20, say lock 21, and we're going to start going down instead of being lifted up. We're going to be dropped down, so this is going to be a different experience. Last Monday the heat index was 104 when we started on the Erie Canal. Today it's a chilly 67 degrees, windy. I have a knit cap on my head, and it's going to be hopefully a short experience going down. We're about a foot off the stern. I'm going to get on this side so we can get a better look. Amazing. Totally opposite today. See if we can see the sign, how far we dropped. I'm guessing that was probably 30-35 feet. Back up here out of the wind. Whew, that was a big drop.
Pretty good size.
I couldn't see the sign to see how far we dropped. So let's speed things up now. So we're cruising into the lock. We're not really going this fast as the video is showing. And the wind is really blowing on us today. So Jim is taking extra care, and I am giving distances when we're coming into the lock. So what I'm doing is I'm going to use my boat hook, reach over, and it is a big reach to grab one of these lines from where I'm standing. I have been coming up on a little bit up on the bow and then bringing it back around because I can pull that line up and then I walk it down to the first or second cleat. I have to go through the 3-hole fitting, so it's where we put our spring lines, and I bring in the line, and I probably have a turn on the cleat just to help control us with the wind. And just hand tending that line, using the cleat to give me a little bit of leverage, and we're dropping down. So they let the water out of the lock pretty fast, and this is a quick process. You can see how the walls are very slimy, and again, I wear gloves. I do not touch the wall, but I'm touching the line, which is same, slime, stinky, covered, dirty. And I wash those gloves now after every time I handle the lines. But you get used to it. It was just the first few days on the Erie Canal that it was challenging. But now it's becoming routine. Jim and I are doing very well. We're not wearing our headsets anymore. I'm standing right next to the door. He can come out, take pictures, get a drink, eat a snack, and still be at the controls. But I never leave the line. The line is in my hand, and we are going to be on the way out. So they're going to open the gates, and we are going to cruise over to Sylvan Beach and stay the night. I really wanted to go swimming. The waves are rough on the lake. It's just a small lake that, the waves are choppy. So we're are on the wall just on the other side of the bridge, so the waves are not affecting us. And here is the sunset. I'm seeing the sunset over the water. So this is perfect. This is Sylvan Beach and Lake Oneida. And the next day we are going to cross this lake, and it is flat as can be, and head into Brewerton. I am so looking forward to being in Brewerton because that means I get to go to Hercules Candy in East Syracuse. That was one of the things when Jim said we were going to do the Great Loop, and I said, oh, we're going through Syracuse, we are going to Hercules Candy, and that is one of the high points of this trip, or you could say it's my rose. We did get an Uber going into a Syracuse, and it was the worst Uber ride ever. I'm not sure if the gentleman, what was wrong with him. He was jerky, he was accelerating fast, speeding, stopping, and when we got to the candy store, Jim and I were just dazed by the events of the car ride. But we got to meet Terry and see how firsthand making candy. They gave us sour apple hard candy, and we bought our favorites. So there's a few pictures of us going into a Syracuse. Really like their Wegmans candy. There's a otter that was on the side of the boat. We were watching going into Brewerton. So right up here there's a free dock. There's a restaurant, electricity. And Jim is making fun of me. The first time I saw otters, I thought they were cats, and that was at the Norfolk Naval Base, and there was feral cats, and I saw what I thought were cats in the water, so I was ready to jump in and save them. But we got up there and they were otters, so Jim always teases me. So there's otters right in here in front of this unique looking house. We're at the free dock today, taking a little bit of a break for boat maintenance. The engine room is open. Let's come this way. The maintenance room is open. Underneath the bed, the Ford bolt is open. Oh, we're cleaning the ACs. Thank you for watching our Great Loop adventures through the Erie Canal. We are now turning north on the Oswego and heading up to Lake Ontario. Thank you for clicking like and subscribing. If you want to see more, come back and check out our Great Loop adventure.